There we go. Okay. So the first question is, which of these readings do you side with more and why? So I think that's a no-brainer. It was.
Yeah, I liked
For
The
sure.
Mothers Who Knew with Julie Beck.
Yeah. I think
Uh,
what it just has a lot of things in there that are true and that are where you can really see that that her words came from revelation.
yeah, yeah, I mean, you can feel the spirit more. Well, I could feel the spirit more when I was reading through hers talk rather than when I was reading through the other article. And I think that it's based on a lot more doctrine and truth rather than just like this is what we feel like should happen. Even though most of the things they said in the What Women Know was good things, it wasn't just doctrine based on doctrine.
Yeah.
So.
I think what women know is I'm not a fan of that article just because it most of it, how I see it, is most of their principles is just there's no, how do you put it? I don't know how to put it in words. Like it's not very loving in any way, and like one of the things that really bugged me was like one of the principles is that we work because we need to and because we have no other choice. I mean, you always have a choice. It's
Yeah.
the life choices that you make that leads you to be in a position that gives you another choice because of the wrong decisions that you have made. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Mhm.
Now, if it's, a situation where the father died and you left, with nothing, but, you have to go to work. On the other hand, there's always, I mean, if you have family, they can help and support you too. Not like financially, but like with the children that they are in a good environment and with somebody that can provide like care for the children at home while the mother goes to work.
Right. Right. And like I don't know, some of it just kind of felt um like we're entitled to things and we deserve these things,
Mhm.
like that it was stating. And whereas like with The Mothers Who Know from Sister Beck, it was more like we do these things to help others. These are our divine nature and role,
Mm.
rather than just like, I don't know, we deserve this or we have to do this.
Yeah,
So,
mothers who know Julie B. Beck just kind of puts it in a way that it's a privilege to be a mother,
yeah.
and she puts it everything. Um, she says, especially the paragraph about nurture, where it says to nurture means to cultivate, care for, and make grow. And then towards the bottom of it, it says even if you don't have the skill comes, or the growth, as she calls it, comes from a house of order. And a woman should pattern their homes after the Lord's house, D&C 109. So she kind of puts it in a way that if you don't have the skill, that's not an excuse. It
Right.
comes throughout years of gaining that skill. I mean, we've got all the resources online and especially YouTube. I mean, if somebody can't cook, you can learn it online. It's not, she kind
Right.
of puts it in a way that anything and everything with mothers should never be an excuse because
Mhm.
there always are options and choices that lead to good, better, best. So,
Yeah. I like that too. Um
you want to answer the second question?
yeah, get back to him. see. What did you think was the tone and focus of the What Women Know article? Did you see any philosophies of men mingled with doctrine? Yeah, so I thought that it was, I mean, like I said, like it was like that we are women, we deserve this, and sometimes we
Mhm.
have to do this because we have to, like as the tone. And like I think that it was philosophies of men mingled with scripture because like there was a lot of good things in it, maybe things based off of like Sister Beck's talk, but there was some things that just bothered me a little bit about it too. And like I don't know, sometimes I just couldn't pinpoint it. It just didn't sit exactly right, even though nothing they were saying was completely wrong, you know? But then there was other parts like you pointed out where they're just um like a little bit like oh, we just have to do this even though we don't want to, you know? Like
Yeah.
yeah. I can't find the specific one that I was thinking of, but like they were just some of the things like maybe like we don't have children because um we're not able to, maybe we haven't had the opportunity to be married, or maybe we just don't want to, like like I don't know, they just kind of made it seem like whichever you decide or whatever situation you're in is fine. You don't need to try and improve yourself or change yourself or become better. You're just acceptable the way you are because you're a woman.
Yeah. Um, it says, for example, um, for the philosophies of men, it says, men are our fathers, sons, brothers, partners, lovers, and friends. Which sounds good, but then if you read underneath what they say, it's kind of like, ouch. and, they say that partnership is illusory and without equal decision-making power, which is the total opposite of the plan of salvation or the proclamation to the world. It is equal. Yes, the truth is that fathers um, have the priesthood and receive revelation, but I know a lot of men who don't really want to take on that, not take on responsibility, but um, wanted they want to make sure that the wife is included in the decision. They don't want to make it seem like God spoke to me. That's what we do. You've got to, my wife and my children got to listen, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's just it is for sure equal decision making power. Um, Also, what women know, the tone is just, I don't know. It sounds like a protest to me, honestly, against anything that Julie B. Beck said. That's the kind of tone that comes across on my end. That they
Yeah.
just want to totally go against what the other article says. I mean, it's most of them underneath the people that have joined this list of principals. I mean, majority of them are from Utah, which is kind of funny to see.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I don't know. It was just kind of, it was interesting. I felt like the same way in that they just kind of they threw in a lot of things that they just kind of felt or wanted rather than how it is, and it was very focused on like I liked how you brought up like how it talked about like the power in a relationship, or like it was very centered on that, like things need to be equal and equal means this, and like I don't know,
mm-hmm.
I was brought up in a very traditional home, and like my mom, like they made it seem like a bad thing when they're like, unfortunately most women still do all the housework and blah blah blah, which I get, like if it's not fair that the woman do everything, and maintain a household, and the husband just goes off and comes home and isn't a part of family life. That's not okay, in my opinion. But people have different relationships. I have one sister. I have four sisters and two brothers, and everyone's married, and so I see a lot of relationships, and I've been the youngest, so I've seen all of them get married and start to raise kids and see how their family and marriage functions. And for some of them, like it's works best for their family for the woman to stay home and take care of the kids. For others, like they're pretty equally yoked on taking care of kids and they both work full time, or like there's just a different
Mhm.
balance that works for everyone. And I don't think it's fair to say that's too bad, this is the way things have to be for most women. Like you should have more of a choice, and we should change this. Like, we don't. I mean, everybody's different, and I think that each marriage needs to find their own balance, not have it spelled out for them by society.
I think that I agree with what you said. It's what popped in my head when you were talking about that was I think the when I understand that husband works a lot, but I think also that the mother has a different kind of struggle, and that the struggle from the husband cannot be necessarily compared to the struggle of a mother, because they're just mothers are divine beings and they're chosen from God for a reason. Now I'm saying that mothers have a different kind of worry than men do, and it's not a curse or anything. It's a godly gift, because we are chosen from God to take on that great responsibility of raising and rearing children. So the, when the housework doesn't get done during the day because the mother has a hard time with one or more children, I think the best thing is that husband comes home and says, it's okay, I'll help you out, instead of sitting down and not being part of the family, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Or that the children do see that the husband is helping out in the house on the weekends, like on Saturdays, that everybody pitches in, and that they see that daddy does the dishes or mops the floor or cleans the bathroom. That they don't see only daddy, as sitting down and watching TV, and that's what he does, and that's what they see. I think that's a really terrible example, honestly. Like, my friend's husband, he's a stay-at-home dad, as well as working from home. He and his family have a online company where they sell children dress-up clothes and stuff, and a lot of costumes, and they're making good money and everything. But one thing that is always astonishing to me is that he, even though he has a lot of days where he can just sit, on the couch and relax. You never see him do that. He always, he has like a lot of people from church, like different youth come over. He hires them to work, to show them, like how to build things. Like the other day, he worked for 6 months on a big project where he said, you know what, I don't want to buy a new dining room table because they've had it for like 6 years now. He built the family a brand new dining room table and dining room chairs and a bench and everything from scratch.
Wow.
And the kids were involved, and he hired some of the youth were needing some extra income for, like, they're paying for their driver's license, for example, or some other things that they were saving up for. And so he hired them and he gave them a check for working with them. And so that is for me, honestly, like the ideal example of what a husband should be.
Yeah.
And honestly, in the What Women Know article, that's not seen at all, because it's more like what you were saying already, that we're entitled to things kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the third question says, if there were a document titled What God Knows About Women Mothers, which of the two articles you read would mostly closely resemble that?
I
I
have
think
to hate
we
mothers who
already
know.
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
what do you know a woman's role to be in our Father's plan?
Um, I think that a woman's role is to be a daughter of God and to strive to live to become like our heavenly parents, and to do that in a loving way that helps others along the path as well. And I think that can be like put together with like also a father's role, but I think that the uniqueness of a mother's role is that she gets to, just like you're doing now, like hold the baby inside her and help create it, and um she gets to be the primary nurturer for it, her children. And um like you said, like I think that mothers have a special gift to be able to care for their children in the ways that they need it most. Like we had my family like Christmas party last night, that's which is why we couldn't
Mm-hmm.
meet. But I was talking to my brother, and I was asking him how his son broke his arm, and he's like, "Oh, he's crashing on his bike," and like, and so he's telling me that his son was trying to do a jump on the bike, and so then he's like, "Well, do you know what you did wrong?" And the little boy's like, "Yeah, I shouldn't be doing that, huh?" And he's like, the dad's like, my brother's like, "No, you did it too slow. You got to do it faster. Like, do your trick faster so that when you land, you're okay." And so then, like, his mom comes up and hears that, and she's like, "No, you don't tell him to do that. You tell him not to do that."
Will be
Like,
my
I
husband.
think
Yep.
that there's a good balance that fathers can bring to a relationship and to raising a child, but I think that there's some needed safety and caring issue, like aspects that a woman can bring when raising children, and it's unique, and it needs, I mean, we need to have both. Like, I watched gosh, I guess it was for this one, it was those girls who um like stood up and talked about how they need their mother and their father, right?
Mhm.
And the one girl was like, which parent do I not need? Like,
Yeah.
I'll ask you again, which parent do I not need? And like that just kind of struck me like that's a good way, that's a good argument. Like, which one do you not need? Most people in our generation now grew up with a father and a mother, or they just got divorced. It wasn't usually what we'll have in this next generation where they grew up with two moms or two dads.
Mhm.
And I'm sure that they felt that loss for that, to directly say like, "Oh, I don't need this person. I don't need the aspects of a mother. I'm fine without that." Because it brings such a
Yeah.
uniqueness that can't be found anywhere else.
Exactly. I think that women and mothers in general, just exactly what you said, nurturers, that we need to take the time to educate ourselves to become better women and to become better mothers. And like Julie B. Beck said, it's a journey, and it's uh, growth that needs to happen. And so it's just, I don't know. It's for me, I didn't get, how can I put it? For me, it was always my dad was gone, working for the church. Uh, he went above and beyond. How much he did for the church was incredible, and I admired him for it. He made a lot of change in the areas and countries that he was responsible for. And those people are still talking about the change he's done 24 years ago when he first started. Um, Actually, no, more than 24 years ago. But anyways, one thing though is he always put the sorry, I'm just trying to not space out. There's plenty of people to me in the last weeks. Um, One thing though that always I saw was him being gone 3 weeks out of the month, and then when he would come home, he never cleaned. I never saw him help out. I never saw him cook. I always saw him griping, complaining that when he got home, this wasn't done right, the laundry wasn't folded properly, and stuff like that. But instead of doing it himself, he would not help out my mom or anything. And
Mhm.
so my mom was always the one that I saw doing everything around the house. But we always had a really tiny apartment. Like, we didn't have a house per se. We only had like I think it's like 800, 900 square feet, 3 bedroom. And so it's not because of money issues, it's because my mom was lazy. She said she didn't want to clean or do anything. And so that's why she chose such a tiny apartment. The layout was great, so you always felt like you had enough space, especially with
Mhm.
only 2 kids, But so for me, growing up, it was always like I didn't know what housework or anything really was. I see it saw from my grandmother, but I wasn't like every day with her to see it. I saw
Right.
it once in a while. So for me, I really had to do what Julie Bebeck was talking about. That don't the lack of skill should not be an excuse. So I really had to learn from scratch on how to do everything, and I'm still learning. Still don't
Yeah.
like to clean,
See, that's funny
but
because
I do the bathrooms. Hey, at least I do the bathrooms, and I help out with the rest of the stuff. But my husband's always been the amazing one cleaning and everything. But
yeah.
even my grandmother always taught me how to cook, so I know how to cook. So I always cook for my husband and stuff, and that's fine. It's just I don't know. Now I'm at a point after 4 years of being married. I'm at a point where if we haven't used it the past 6 months, we'll just chuck it out. So a lot of things like we really don't only have the basics because I'm like, let's just chunk it if we don't use it. But
Yeah.
it's just I think that's also part of the a role of a mother to just not to only throw things away, but declutter and teach the children to if you don't use it and if you don't need it, throw it out, even if you want it. Anything is a luxury kind of thing.
Right. Well, and I think that doesn't even just limit to like physical items. I think that a mother teaches children how to do that with their own lives too. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
even if you maybe want to go to this party or want to have these friends, like, check it out. It's not good for you. You're not going to use it in the future. It's not going to benefit you in any way. So it's not worth having for right now either. And so it's kind of funny because, like, you were sharing your story, and like mine's kind of the opposite. My mom, like, always taught us how to clean, and that was one thing I knew, and I didn't really know how to cook. Like, it was kind of backwards. And so, like, now I've just been used to that. Like, I mean, my dad probably did a little bit more, but like, it was very, very traditional in the sense that, like, my dad did all outside work, my mom did all inside work, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
so now where I just got married a few months ago and I'm living with my husband here in an apartment. And we don't have any outside work. Like, we have a
Yeah.
little lawn and it gets mowed by the owners. And like, we just only have our little bit of inside work. And like, I've just been so used to doing all of it by myself. Like, I'll just be like, oh, I got to get this done. I got to get this done. And my husband's like, I can help you. Like, let me do this. And
Oh yeah, I've got a
I'm
second
like,
person
oh
now.
yeah, okay, you can help me, thank you, like, and I forget, and then he's so nice to like help me make dinners, and he never has once told me that dinner was bad, even when I know that it was. And so he's just been like so good in like being united in all of like that. And I think this kind of like, I guess now that I'm thinking about it, like goes into the next question of like how might a man's understanding and conviction of a woman's role dramatically impact the eternal well-being of children, families, and women. Like, it's made me feel more important when he acts like that, when he values the things that I do. And like, I was kind of having a hard time like when we very first got married, because I was like, oh, I'm expected to do this stuff, like, I'm sorry I didn't get this done today. And he's like, that's okay, like, I don't expect you to do anything, like, I'm just very
I'm
appreciative when you do it. And so then I was
Yeah.
like, oh, like, it felt relieving to know that, like, oh, if I didn't get all the dishes done, then but I got the bathroom clean, like, then he's gonna be happy. He's not gonna be like, well, why isn't the laundry folded right? Why isn't all the dishes finished? He's just grateful for me and supports me. So
That's exactly how my husband is. Like, we have well, we clean on a daily basis. But like the bathrooms and stuff like that are like, well, dishes are being done every 2 days, and we kind of have our own plan. But it's the same thing. Like I just feel like everything's got to be neat and tidy
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to have what I grew up with. That yes, it's neat and tidy, but only because it was only 800 square feet and there was nothing to clean. We've got 1,000 square foot apartment, and there's a lot of the way the layout is. There's a lot of closets and stuff.
Right.
Where
Places to
things can get
collect.
cluttered
Yep.
and stuff. And so I feel like I keep stressing myself out at least a few times a week. And so it's nice to have a partner where it's like, hey, it's okay. Let's just sit down and
Yeah.
dinner and watch TV. And I'm like, it's gotta get down. And it's like, you know what? Tomorrow's another day. The world is not gonna end tomorrow, so you can do it tomorrow or the next day. And it's not. It's just. I don't know. It's nice to have somebody else on your side to help you keep cool, kind of thing.
Oh, definitely. And like I can't even blame your mom for like choosing such a small place. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
because that it would be so hard to try and like do everything and maintain a whole household or a whole role of mothership alone. You know, when you
Yeah.
not only have no one there, but someone there who's not supportive of it, you know?
Mhm. It's true.
So,
Okay, so the last question is: the Savior has said that in the last days, even the very elect shall be deceived. How can we avoid being deceived by the world's philosophies of men and women's roles? Um, I like what Julie B. Beck said about mothers who know our leaders. The paragraph says mothers who know our leaders, in equal partnership with their husbands, they lead a great internal organization. These mothers plan for the future of the organization. They plan for missions, temple marriages, and education. They plan for prayer, scripture study, and family evening. Mothers who know build children into future leaders and are the primary examples of what leaders look like. They do not abandon their plan by succumbing to social pressure and worldly models of parenting. These wise mothers who know are selective about their own activities and involvement to conserve the limited strength in order to maximize the influence where it matters most. I think that answers completely the question, honestly. That we always have like a focus on spiritual things, and that we always have a focus on the gospel when we deal with the worldly things, and that we do not, like she says, do not abandon our goals and our plans, and that we are selective about the activities that we let into our families, especially when it comes to our children, after school activities and stuff.
yeah. Yeah. I liked the very end when she was saying how mothers who know stand strong and immovable, and she said Latter-day Saint women will do this when women who know love the Lord and bear testimony of him, women who are strong and immovable and who do not give up during difficult and discouraging times. We are led and inspired by a prophet of God who has called upon the women of the church to stand strong and immovable for that which is correct and proper under the plan of the Lord. Like we've already been taught the role of a woman, and it's in the proclamation to the family, you know, and it's been proclaimed by the prophets for many generations over the pulpit, and we have it in the scriptures. We have all of these places and people that we can look to for an example so that we can stay um like so that we can not be deceived by the world, because we're not changing our view. We need to keep it the same. And one of the things that I liked in there was it said we know Christ and we know his gospel, and I think that if we are fully building our testimony, then we'll be able to see it, you know, even though like just like how I was reading those articles and like I didn't know what exactly it was that I didn't like about the what women know, but I knew that there was just like it's just kind of iffy, you know? Like you just can feel it
Yeah.
in your heart, and like and so I think that that's how we can protect our families and like our role as women and mothers too is like being close to the Spirit, and the Spirit will let us know whether we're on track or whether we're not, or whether something's right or wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Summary.
Yep.
We definitely liked the Mothers Who Know by Julie B. Beck a lot more than we liked the other article.
Yeah.
We felt like the What Women Know article was kind of entitled and I don't know, what did we think? Opinionated to what they deserved, rather than what they could give and do for others.
We could really feel like the Spirit in the Julie B. Beck's talk.
Yeah.
And that with What Women Know was kind of more like it talks about it's kind of like a protest that
Yeah.
we women should have more rights, kind of thing.
Yeah. We talked about how our husbands play such a great role in supporting us as wives and you as a mother, and we talked about how much of a difference it can make when a husband is supportive compared to when they're not, and it can greatly benefit a family in many ways when they are supportive, and be encouraging to a wife and mother, and to prevent ourselves from being deceived in these last days by the world's philosophies of shifting roles. We can stay close to the Lord and build our testimony and rely on the Spirit.
Definitely. I think you summed it up pretty well.
All right. Perfect.